In the dining room, then you can sit on that one.
Well, good evening and welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation podcast in true Mark Goldbridge fashion. I'll be doing it solo tonight. Laura is at work. Guys, we will be back together on Sunday night, so come and join us for that. Plenty of things to talk about in today's pod. Evening, Stuart. How you doing, buddy? Good to have you here. Guys, it is obviously a night where that lot from across the city are playing. It's currently 0-0 at Easter Road. We're hoping that Brendan Rodgers keeps up his outstanding record at Easter Road, where he's never won a game yet. So obviously that's a topic of conversation. We've also got some news from around the SPL. Also news about Rangers as well. And we're going to obviously look over everything that went on last night at Ibrox, at a rocking Ibrox, as Rangers won in fantastic fashion to go joint top of the league at least for 24 hours. Well, look, let's deal with some bits and pieces of news first of all before we all reflect on last night's game. We haven't had a chance really, have we, to talk over in the cold light of day what happened last night at Ibrox. So first piece of news is regarding Dujon Sterling. Now, Dujon Sterling obviously was sent off last night in, let's say, controversial fashion. It was, look, I think, you look back at that tackle and Philippe Clement was very, very, very angry quite clearly about the sending off. First of all, before he's even... Okay. Whoa. There we go. That's back now. I hope you can hear me again. So before he even got into his post-match interview, you could see that he was really, really unhappy with what was happening. We had that where he went onto the pitch and spent at least 2 or 3 minutes. Hopefully it's unmuted now. Is it unmuted now, guys? Can you hear me okay? I hope you can hear me okay. Yes. So look, he went onto the pitch for 5 minutes at least and had a word, shall we say, with Don Robertson. We can talk about his refereeing display shortly. Now, after the game, he did say that it was a harsh red card. I think was what he came out with. He says that he slipped, that he hit the player's toe, and that as far as he was concerned, he can't remember anyone getting a red card for tackling somebody's toe before. So look, Geordie asks, can the red card be appealed? Good evening to John. Absolutely, John. Good evening, buddy. How are you? Well, yes, the red card has been appealed. Apparently, Rangers have appealed that decision tonight. It has been reported from the club that Rangers are appealing the red card against Dujon Sterling. Now, look, this is a situation as it is. It is appealed on a emergency basis. It is appeared on a fast track tribunal. So there will be a fast track tribunal hearing tomorrow, Thursday, the 8th of February. So notice of claim. This is what's gone out. Notice of claim. Dujon Sterling, player Rangers FC, Wednesday, the 7th of February, 2024. That's today's date, obviously. Player Dujon Sterling, match Rangers versus Aberdeen on Tuesday, the 6th of February. Competition Scottish Premiership. Offence, serious foul play. Claim, wrongful dismissal. Fast track tribunal hearing on Thursday, the 8th of February at 2024. So, good evening, James. How you doing, buddy? Good, mate? How you doing? Sorry, Struth, buddy. Awful Australian accent there. Gordon, you are 100% correct. It was a yellow card, no more. Now, the decision has been appealed by Rangers. Now, look, I don't know if you are the same as me. Now, I honestly feel that they are right to appeal the decision. They are 100% correct to appeal that decision. I don't honestly think it is a red card. Now, look, you can accuse me of having Rangers coloured spectacles on and all that, but look, I have got a refereeing qualification. I am a qualified ref. For me, that is a yellow card, nothing more. I thought that Don Robertson got that 100% wrong on that decision. It was 100% wrong. Dujon was exceptionally unlucky to be sent off. Now, What kind of compounds it for me is the fact that there was a VAR check then went on against that red card. Now, obviously, VAR checks are a matter of course in that. They've taken, obviously, the red card. Those violent conduct things do go to the VAR check, like the Cifuentes one, for example. Now, what gets me is quite clearly when Don Robertson was asked to go and take a look at the decision by the VAR official, whoever the VAR official was last night. I'm not quite sure who the VAR official was last night, but whoever asked him to take a look quite clearly thought that there was a reason that decision could be overturned, that it was not, in his estimations, violent conduct. Now, the majority of the time, if the referee is asked to go to the monitor by the VAR official, it is because he feels there has a mistake has taken place, right? Because if you look at the other decisions that are upheld, the VAR official does not ask the referee to go to the monitor and have a look at his decision. It is upheld as it is. Now, last night, Don Robertson is asked by the VAR official, go over, have a look. Is it a red card in your opinion? Now, what that tells me is that in the opinion of the VAR official, whoever that may have been, there was a huge mistake made by Don Robertson, and that in his estimations, it was not a red card offence. Now, for me, that is a major question mark over Don Robertson. Why did Don Robertson then feel that in his eyes that was not an overturnable offence? What did he see second time around in slow motion that we did not see? Now, at real time, it always looks worse than it is. But if you slow it down and watch that foul by Dujon Sterling, there are two things that Dujon Sterling does that for me means it's not a red card. Number one, he slips. As he goes into the tackle, he quite clearly slips. The second thing is, under no point is he out of control. If you look at red card offences that go against teams when it's violent conduct, the player is off the ground, he is out of control, his feet are both off the floor. At no point were both Sterling's feet off the floor. At no point were Sterling's studs anywhere near the player's ankle, the player's shin, the player's knee. It was on the end of his foot. Now, for me, and I know you can say that I'm biased as a Rangers fan, that's why I'm saying it, but for me, if you look back at it, the reaction of Mackenzie rolling over 15, 16 times, or however many times it was, like some Olympic gymnast, the reaction of Aberdeen bench is what got Dujon Sterling sent off, not the foul. So, in my estimations, as someone looking at it with the referee's head on, for me, that should have been overturned. It should have been a yellow card. No way, shape or form should that have been a red card against Dujon Sterling. Now, Stuart says the appeal is never going to get overturned. Blue Nose says they have to take into account the Dujon slip. They certainly do, John. That's what I'm saying. It has to be taken into account. John, they won't take anything into account. They see it Rangers and stick with the red card. Says Stuart. David says if the red card is overturned, that referee should be demoted and forced to undertake some form of further training. He has to be some repercussions, especially when he had 2 goes at getting it right. That is superb. That is a great point, David. Now, for me, Stuart, I can see 100% where you're coming from. I honestly feel that the red card will be upheld and the appeal will not be upheld. That the card will not be overturned. The card will stand and the sending off will stand. And it will stand purely because it was a Rangers player. If it had been the other way round, if it had been an Aberdeen player and a Rangers player, the red card will be overturned. If the player was wearing green and grey, it would be overturned. Facts, absolute facts. The SFA hate Rangers. That is a fact. They hate us. Don't know why they've got such a downer on us, because we do more for the Scottish game than any other Scottish team. We boost the coefficient. We allow more teams into Europe because of our performances in Europe. We do more for the Scottish game than any Scottish team does. So the hatred against us is ridiculous. But I agree that I agree on that. Now, the other thing is, David is 100% correct with what he says, though. If it is that in some miracle occurs that the card is actually overturned by the SFA, then some action needs to be taken against Don Robertson. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if you mess up at work, there are repercussions for you messing up at work. Okay, you may face a disciplinary procedure, you may face demotion, you may face fine, you may face a bollocking in the office, you may face any sort of punishment. But it seems to me that in football, and especially in Scottish football, match officials are allowed to get away with murder. Absolutely allowed to get away with murder. They can be as dreadful as you want. They can be as appalling as you want, but there is never, ever a sanction against them. And I agree with David, what he says, that if there is a action where this card is overturned, then Don Robertson needs to be demoted, needs to have some further training, needs to be made to be accountable for his actions. Now, look, whatever you think, Don Robertson last night was absolutely awful, absolutely dreadful. As a referee, he was unbelievably appalling, unbelievably appalling. I mean, the performance of Don Robertson last night was absolutely awful. I mean, I listened with incredulity this morning to Rangers review, and perhaps I was a bit out of order with what I said about Johnny McFarlane. But look, for me, I mean, you listen to Johnny McFarlane, who I have no respect for, and Chris Jack on Rangers review this morning, and they sit there and they say that in their opinion, Don Robertson didn't do a great deal wrong last night, which to me asks this question: what the bloody hell were they watching last night? Because there was a number of occasions where Don Robertson was absolutely awful. Duke was booked, rightly so, for a swinging arm on Connor Goldson. Okay, now that was fine. Okay, it was only a yellow card for me. It was never a red card, right? So let's deal with that now. Later on, Duke quite clearly, cynically, and this is the key word here, cynically trips Dujon Sterling. Okay, he pulls him down by the ankle. He basically tackles him rugby style to bring him down and stop him from getting forward. Okay, that is a foul. Now, the referee correctly played on, so well done, Don Robertson, for that. But at no point did he do what most normal referees do, which is then go back to that incident and speak to Duke about that foul. Now, he didn't speak to him at any point about that foul. There was no occasion in that game, even when the play stopped, that he go back and speak to Duke. If he had, then he needed to yellow card him, because that was a yellow card. Now, if Duke wasn't on a yellow card, I think he would have gone back and he would have yellow carded him. But because Duke was on a yellow card, he doesn't go back. He doesn't yet yellow card him. He doesn't put Aberdeen down to 10 men. And for me, Don Robertson's performance, sorry, Johnny McFarlane, you're talking crap as per usual. It was not. It was awful. It was a garbage performance by a garbage official. And I'm sorry, if you honestly believe there was not a lot wrong with his performance, you really need to stop watching football, Johnny McFarlane, because you know jack shit about it. Greg Guthrie says we wouldn't have appealed it if we didn't think it was deserving to be overturned. Correct, Greg. I think you're right. And Clement was clear. He didn't think it was a red card. And I don't think it's a red card, Greg. It's not a red card. It's a yellow card at most. But the issue we've got is that, as we know, the SFA do not like Rangers. And the chances of it being overturned, I think, are very slim. I think there's more chance of it being upheld, as that with the VAR decision, as with everything that went on at Celtic Park, where they obviously backed the officials, etc., etc. There is something not quite right with the Scottish FA in terms of their attitude towards Rangers and in terms of everything else. Love Glasgow Rangers says, come on, the Highbees, send us top flight. Let's hope so. Going back to what John says in the chat here, I hope Ross County are not the next club to get the new manager bounce against us next week. This comes on the back of news that tonight Derek Adams has been sacked or resigned, shall we say, as manager of Ross County. This comes on the back of Ross County losing 5-0 to Motherwell at Fir Park last night in what was a pretty appalling performance. And obviously, Ross County are going through a pretty awful time anyway. They're second bottom of the league. They're the only team that are obviously giving Livingston any hope of staying up this season. And Ross County have acted and sacked Derek Adams. You've got to feel it's the right decision, especially as some of the crap that Derek Adams has been coming out with just recently. And realistically, he did throw his entire team under the bus last night, which, you know what, if you're going to get the best out of your players, it really is not a good idea to throw them under the bus, is it, Michael Beale? Interesting comment there. CJNI says the SFA needs us more than we need them. Put them all, go down the south. It's correct. This is what I said at the start of the pod. You know, we do more for Scottish football than that lot across the city. We do more for Scottish football than Aberdeen, than Hearts, than Hibs, than any of those teams do. Mark says, evening, Mark. How you doing, buddy? He should have sent Duck off for second yellow as well. Absolutely, David, what I was saying, 100%. Sterling slipped also. Correct, Ian, he did. Same in answer. It won't be overturned. It's Rangers. Correct, Alistair, 100%. Robertson was never going to reverse his decision. Didn't want to lose face. Needs retraining, says Mark Webster. You are right, Mark. It was a shocking decision by the official. Awful decision by the official. Yes, unfortunately, Celtic have gone 1-0 up tonight. A penalty. Oh, what a shock. Celtic have had a penalty. Wow. Adam Eder, their new signing, has scored a penalty after 10 minutes. Are any of us surprised that Celtic have been given a penalty tonight to help them win? None of us are surprised, are we? We need to get a distance between us and the other side as much. How much do these officials help those self-entitled brats? Correct, John. Referees are just absolutely awful. Willie Collum is going to be refereeing at Ibrox in the next few weeks. Ian, it's not next few weeks. He is the referee for the Ayr game on Saturday. He will be there at Ibrox on Saturday. Just so that you know, guys. Okay, so never in my life have I seen a pen for Clash of Heads. You can't make this shit up. Is that what it was given for? I'm not watching the game. I never watch Celtic. I can't stand the thought of them. And just the sheer thought of Celtic or a Celtic top makes you want to throw up, if I'm being wholly honest, mate. Yeah, like I just said, Matt, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, mate, because, look, you know as well as I do, they're going to do everything they can in their power to help them tonight. Of course they are. Match officials love Celtic. We know that. The SFA loves Celtic. We know that. There was twice in the first half. Lunny and Cantwell won the ball cleanly in the half and was just about to set us on the counter attack, and he believed for 2 fouls. RFC, I remember one of those where Cantwell was in incredulity with rage over the decision because, yeah, we won the ball quite cleanly. We're about to start a counter attack. He blows up for a foul to stop us from counter attacking. You're right, RFC 72. It was a shocking performance. And like I said, for Johnny McFarlane, Chris Jack to sit there this morning on Rangers Review. I'm not watching Rangers Review anymore. I'm done with it. I'm finished with it. And say that there was nothing wrong with their performance. It was just absolute shite. Absolute, pure, unadulterated crap. That sending off last night was harsh. It should have been a yellow. That referee was awful. Correct. He did. Another awful penalty for them. Yes, absolutely. Mark says, how many times could Celtic players have been sent off in the recent weeks? 2 or 3 against us and the Rocky last Saturday. And we get all the decisions, apparently. Yeah, it's the worst conspiracy theory in history, isn't it? I mean, the conspiracy theory that we all hear, isn't it? That Rangers get every single decision and Rangers get all the soft penalties and Rangers never get a player sent off and Rangers never get a penalty given against them. Well, we've had 4 red cards this season, more than any other team in the SPL. Celtic have had 11 penalties now, which is 2 more than us. You know, we've had a penalty given against us this season. They haven't. So at the end of the day, the conspiracy theory and the crap they come out with is just utterly rubbish. But we know that the problem is that the SFA are weak. The SFA won't do anything about it because for the last 2 months, they have been sowing the narrative that Rangers get all those decisions. They never get any decisions. They're victimised. Rangers get all the soft decisions. Rangers never get players sent off. Rangers don't get this given against them. Rangers get this. Rangers get that. And the SFA have bought a hook, line and sinker. And we can see in what is happening that we are not getting decisions anymore because of that narrative that has been sowed by that lot. Because we know that they have an undue influence over the SFA. It's just a fact. It's a plain fact. The same tackle in the English Premiership was not deemed a red as his foot wasn't high enough or showing studs. The speed, the force wasn't seen as being dangerous play. Correct, George. Correct. His foot never left the ground. He slid in. He slipped. It was not a foul. He was never out. Well, it was a foul. It was a yellow card. He was never out of control, ever. Mark says Duke should have been sent off for 2 yellow offences. Correct, Mark. Spot on. We need an upgrade for Goldson this summer. I think I might get some stick for that comment, says Gordon. Gordon, it's a fair comment. We'll get to that shortly. So, guys, 52 watching tonight, guys. I wasn't expecting loads tonight. Obviously, I think it was a late podcast that I put up anyway this morning. Just fancy coming on and talking to you all about last night's game and about what is going on with these yellow and red cards in Scotland at the moment, and that disgusting decision to send off. I agree, only 4 home nations. Hopefully Hibs can win 2-1, although their form of recent times is pretty shit, isn't it? Okay, so look, let's deal with last night, shall we? And let's deal with what happened in the game last night. Now, one thing for me that I just want to sort of talk a little bit about last night in terms of that game, is this. I honestly think that game last night was a game where Rangers showed something that we've never previously shown. For me, there was a real sea change in the mentality, wasn't there? A real sea change in the mentality. Evening Bears, evening John. How you doing, buddy? When that goal goes in from Miovski, when Miovski scores that goal, who according to the BBC was man of the match, by the way, bizarre decision. Oh God, Matt, please don't tell me that. So anyways, we're saying, when Miovski scores and we go in at 1-1, you know what? I honestly feel that under Michael Beale, under Gio, to some degree, that game finishes 1-1 or we lose it 2-1. We just don't go on to win it. We do not go on to win it. There's a tension there. There's a pressure there. And in the past, I honestly think you see players hide. You see players retreat into their shells. You see players just kind of not put in the full effort. Now, last night for me, I really saw, again, a change in this team's mentality. Now, is it a complete change in the mentality? Is it a complete change of those so-called serial losers? No, not yet. Why not yet? Because let's face it, we haven't beaten them yet. At the end of the day, until we beat them again and beat them again on a consistent basis, when there's something on the line, you do need to obviously do that. And that will show the real change in mentality. There does appear to be a mental block when it comes to be playing that lot from across the city. What we're starting to see, though, is a clear change in mentality. And that is very positive. Very, very, very positive. RFC says, Gordon, we need 2 centre-backs, mate, and Goldson pisses me off, loses the same goal constantly, a simple ball over the top. Right, RFC 72, Gordon, let's touch on the Goldson thing, shall we? Not what I was planning on going. I'll come back to what I was going to plan to talk about in a moment. But let's touch on the Goldson thing, shall we? Look, I've got a bit of a crucifying over the last couple of weeks for my comments on Connor Goldson. Let's clear one thing. I don't hate Connor Goldson. Don't hate him, right? I was someone, if you go back into some of my old videos and you go back and look at them, I'm someone who has stuck up for Connor Goldson, who has talked about him being the organizer at the back, the leader at the back, etc., etc. Okay, I've talked about all those different things. Okay, now what I'm seeing from Connor Goldson in the last few weeks, and this season more so, is he's slowing down. He's not the same player he was during 55. Now, is this because Connor Goldson's a crap player? No, it's not. Is it because Connor Goldson's getting older? Yes, it is. Now, look, I know, we all know, as you get older, you slow down. That's just how it is, right? It's a fact. That's why outfield players don't play for longer, okay? That's why players don't play now till they're 36, 37, 38 years old, not at the highest level anymore, because of the fact they slow down, they lose a step of pace, they lose a bit of skill, they lose a bit of something about them. They just slow down. And at this level, you can't afford that. And as RFC 72 makes an excellent point here, Connor Goldson has given the same goal away 3 times this season. What are those 3 times, you ask? Well, number 1 was the old firm at Ibrox, the shit header out from Goldson, the ball back over the top, Kyogo's in on goal, Kyogo volleys, Kyogo scores, right? So that's the first one, okay? That's the first one. The second goal that he gives away is the Pitodri goal, the Miovski goal at Pitodri. Again, simple ball over the top, Goldson caught sleeping, Miovski through, Miovski scores. Last night, again, Goldson caught sleeping, ball over the top, Miovski scores. Now, for me, Goldson has been poor in the last couple of games. He was awful against St Mirren, woeful against St Mirren. He wasn't good last night. To be honest with you, the best centre-half pairing we've had in the last few games, for me, was John Souttar and Leon Balogun. Now, there's a few people trying to pass the blame from Connor Goldson to John Souttar last night, saying it was Souttar's fault that goal was conceded because he wasn't awake, he wasn't round supporting. Well, I think that's utterly ridiculous affirmation that it was down to John Souttar. It had nothing to do with John Souttar. It was down to Connor Goldson's shit defending. Ian says he's got 2 years left on his contract. Now, look, Connor Goldson, I think, has a role to play. But the problem we've got is, we'll come to that point in a minute, Geordie. The problem is that, for me, is that Goldson does have a role perhaps to play as a backup, and that's it. As a backup, we do, I think, RFC 72 need to overhaul this defence. Now, people talk about the fact that we're the best defence in Scotland. Correct. Now, Jack Butland is a lot to do with that. Again, I've been slaughtered for saying it's down to Jack Butland. I've had one podder from another podcast tell me I'm talking rubbish and lying by saying that it's anything to do with Jack Butland. Jack Butland gives a defence ultimate confidence because you know that behind you have a man who's going to sweep up, who's going to clear up, who is a solid player behind you. Okay, so that for me is massive. The other thing as well, I think Leon Balogun has been brilliant this season, absolutely brilliant. Connor Goldson does need to be replaced. What we need is a Richard Gough, Terry Butcher style, no nonsense, in your face central defender who will just take no crap at the back and clear everything out and be that leader at the back. That's what we need. Geordie says, trying to work out who's going to get hounded more on Saturday. Is it going to be Colm or Brown? What a question. Although Scott Brown apparently has come out to say that he does love Rangers now. Apparently, he did come out to say that's in response to Philippe Clement's comment last night, which was hilarious at the end of his interview, where he said that in his estimations that we have got someone coming to Ibrox who doesn't love Rangers, which did cause obviously that response. There we go. Silva showed amazing skill and when hemmed in the corner last night, he did, Ian. I thought Fabio Silva was absolutely excellent last night. You are very, very correct in what you say there. Let's have a look what else we've got in this chat. Goldson and Tav need replacing. They're getting too old. We should have any main team players left from 55. John, it's a super point. Look, and again, I'm going to get hammered for this. I'm going to get slaughtered for saying this. But look, Goldson and Tav have served their useful purposes. How many other top teams around Europe have the same defense they had 5 years ago? 5 years ago, Barisic and Tav and Goldson played against Celtic. 5 years, and they're still at the club. RFC 72 comes back on that. So it's nothing to do with speed, Owen. Good centre backs don't need speed. They read the game and anticipate things much better. Thiago Silva is a prime example. Has no pace, never gets caught out, although he has been dropped for tonight's game. But yeah, good. It's right. They do read the game. Goldson doesn't read the game as well as he used to. I don't think 100%. Stuart says Silva should start ahead of Dessers. He offers so much more. Stuart, I've got to see. I agree 1,000,000% with that comment. It is absolutely spot on with that comment you've just made there. Look, at the end of the day, you've got a situation where, if you look at it, Silva was class last night. I thought Silva was brilliant last night when he came on. I thought he was skillful. He worked his backside off. He beat players. He had 2 great chances that were hard chances. But, again, nothing against him for missing them. Dessers misses 3 chances last night. All 3 he should have scored, or at least work the keeper. There was the spin and shot on his left foot, for example. It's straight across the face, doesn't even work the goalkeeper. There was the one where the ball dropped him on the edge of the area, and I don't know what he did, but I don't know where the ball went in the end, but it went that way rather than that way. Cyril Dessers, to me, is absolute pish. He really is genuinely absolute crap. Some stats from last night from Cyril Dessers, guys. A couple of stats for you about Cyril Dessers last night. So this is the first stat about him. During his 57 minutes on the pitch, Dessers took 28 touches, which was 2 fewer than Jack Butland. He completed only 16 passes and was very ineffective in front of goal. In addition to that, Dessers did not win one single aerial or ground duel against any Aberdeen defender. He did not win a single duel up there against any player. When the pressure came on, he failed, 100% failed to win anything. Good evening, DL2. How you doing? Souttar, too slow for me, says Ian. I like Souttar. I've got to say, I love Souttar. Goldson should have been resigned after his European debacle, says S. Blue Nose says Miovski must love playing against Goldson. He certainly must. He gets every chance, doesn't he, to score in that situation. What else have we got? Ian says here, some saying Button to blame for the Sheep goal. Not for me. I agree. 100% Ian with that one. Tav will see out his 10 years, then move on, in my opinion. There's every chance of that. Every chance of that. John says, a friend of mine is a cousin of Scott Brown. He was a Rangers fan as a kid. He was. There's a picture of him on one element of social media. I'm not quite sure where it was again, but him in the Rangers kit. So yeah, apparently he was a Rangers fan. That's something he said today, that that's in the past now, that he does like Rangers. His family are a staunch Rangers fan. He got dropped off his wife's Twitter comments saying to get rid of the manager. Ha ha. Duncan McInnes, I'm hearing reviewers say we can't afford Miovski. Rubbish, he would be earning money in the bank at 24, 25 years of age, says Duncan McInnes. I think the issue with Miovski is that the more goals he scores, if he gets to 30 goals this season, I think the problem is that he's going to be someone who is going to be worth a hell of a lot of money. And have we necessarily got £6-7 million that it's going to cost to get Miovski out of his contract? And what you've also got to remember, Duncan, is the fact that Aberdeen will be very reticent to do business with us. Ian, absolutely. I thought that. Let's talk a little bit about Todd Cantwell. Todd Cantwell is someone who, he's been criticised in recent weeks after his performances, particularly against Hibernian, where he went missing a little bit. We did joke on the live stream that could someone ring Edinburgh Police and put out a missing persons ad for him. But look, I thought Cantwell was absolutely excellent last night. Absolutely superb. He got everywhere. He ran the ball down. He was at the centre of everything that was decent. His passing was good. He was quick passing. He did very, very well last night. I was very impressed with Todd Cantwell and how he played. And the goal was excellent. The goal was absolutely superb from Todd last night. A really, really high quality finish. The fact that you watch him, he follows in the Tom Lawrence shot. I thought Tom was very good last night. He follows in the Tom Lawrence shot. He hits it first time. He gets his head over the ball, his body over the ball, keeps it low, doesn't do a Cyril Dessers and sky it, smashes it in the back of the net. 2-1 Rangers, wins us the game. I thought it was an excellent performance from Cantwell last night. Really, really. All right, True Blue. All right, performance. Love the new signings. I think those guys will drive us forward. And then when they will set up Alfie 2.0, talking about Cortez. What else have we got here? Good friends with Ross McCausland, spoke to him today just about dropping that 6-foot Aberdeen defender. Young lads working on his strength and tracking back. Geordie, let's talk a little Ross McCausland, shall we? Also, McCausland loves what, Geordie? Ross McCausland watches this podcast. I really, honestly, Ross, if you're watching, love you, son. Look, I want to stick up for Ross. I really want to stick up for Ross. I think a lot of the criticism that Ross gets is very unfair. Ross gets a bit of criticism. You look at social media, and I know social media is a poisonous place. Jesus, I get enough hammering on there on a daily basis. But look, at the end of the day, Ross McCausland is a young player who is learning the game. Yes, he's 21 years old, which I suppose in football terms is not that young when you compare him to, the likes of Phil Foden and Kobe Mainoo at Manchester United and so on. But Ross McCausland is learning the game of football. He to me, he's a Rangers lad. He's Rangers through and through. He's one of us. He's one of us. Yeah, you're right, CJ and I. He is absolutely Linfield and Rangers legend. He is fantastic. And look, he is learning the game. He's learning to track back. He is still quite a young lad. He's a slight lad. He's got a lot to work on. He's still got lots to develop. But the fact that he's getting first team football, the fact that he's getting the opportunity, and he's a breath of fresh air. He tracks back. He is tracking back more. He made those mistakes against Betis where he allowed Miranda to run on Tav. Okay, and he should have tracked back. But he's learning. He's tracking back. There was an incident last night, I don't know if you saw it, where he chases that guy back and brings him down to the 6-foot defender and absolutely takes him down, takes man, ball, and wins the throw-in for Rangers. That's what we want to see from him. He ran at defenders. He gets at defenders. He comes in. He can use his left foot. He can use his right foot. He needs time to develop. And I honestly believe with time, with the opportunity to develop, he will become an outstanding player. And for those fans who are criticising him, I'd say get off his back. Get off his back. He's a 21-year-old boy. Give him the chance to mature. I like the quality football we played last night. Ian, so did I. Especially first half. I thought we were very, very good indeed. Cantwell has been top draw last 2 games, back-to-back man of the match performances. David, just spot on. He has been very, very good. I mean, I met Clement after the Livy game. Really nice chap also. You hear that of everybody who meets him, you know, that he's a nice guy. He's got this reputation, hasn't he? Been a bit of a chav, bit of a showman, bit of a great I am, whatever. It's not Todd. Todd's a lad. He's a young lad still. You know, he's up and coming. And yeah, he's got time for the fans. He speaks well about the club. Post-match interview last night, I thought he gave us spot on. I've got a lot of time for him. I've got a lot of time for Todd. People have been too quick to write Campbell off. I'm seeing the same thing with Raskin now. David, yeah, I don't like the criticism of Raskin. He's been injured a lot. I agree, and it does. But he is 21 years old, mate. Give him time; it will come. Give him time; it will come. It's a lot better than a lot of other people in this team at this moment in time. I rate Todd Campbell. He's a proper footballer. He shows passion and works hard for the cause. Absolutely, 100% he does. He is a proper footballer. He's someone who he loves Rangers. You can tell he loves being at the club. You can tell that. You can tell how much he loves being a Ranger. He has certainly CJ&I. He certainly has. And yes, David P, he is a better option than Scotty Wright. Absolutely. Todd has really fallen in love with the club. He's Todd the Prod, isn't he? We all know he's Todd the Prod. We know that he's Todd the Prod. We know that he loves being a player. You know, he loves playing for us. And look, if we can get Todd Cantwell close to his second half of the season form that he had last year, then this puts us in really good stead to go on and obviously, you know, to really compete for this league title, to compete for the Scottish Cup, to do well in the Europa League and keep it going across those three fronts that are still remaining for us. You know, look, Philippe Clement's talked about that, hasn't he? He wants to win trophies. That's quite clear. He said that in his presser the other day, that he knows how to win trophies. He knows how to win cups. He's been there as a player and a manager. Have some faith in the guy. I think he's done great so far. He's been brilliant. I've got some stats to share with you in a minute about Philippe Clement. 38 key a week. Matondo was better last night. Ian, he was better last night. There was obviously that miss that he has where he cuts in on his right foot, takes an age, very reminiscent of the Dessers at Parkhead incident, and completely screws it up. Gordon Turnbull, I think my 2-year-old has a better touch than Dessers. Geordie, I think my dog has more control over the ball than Cyril Dessers, if I'm being honest with you. Guys, I think it's worth remembering this. On the left is the table after the Aberdeen game on the 30th of September. On the right of the screen is the table as it stands before the games tonight. Now, if you look at that table, when Michael Beale was sacked, Rangers had played 7 games. They'd won 4, lost 3, 12 points, okay? 12 points. So since Philippe Clement has come in, we have played 17 games, okay? We've cut that 7-point lead of Celtic's back to nothing. It is now level on points at the top. They have 58 points. We have 58 points. Yes, if they win tonight, they do go 3 points clear, but we've still got a game in hand over them, okay? So look at the record that Philippe Clement has as a Rangers manager. Look at how he's performed as Rangers manager. We've lost only 1 game in the league. Yes, it was unfortunately to them, and a game we didn't deserve to lose, but we did lose to them. Fair enough. But we still are. I've only had 1 draw in those 17 games. The record of Philippe Clement since he's come to Ibrox has been absolutely fantastic. It really has. He has done an absolutely brilliant job. Absolutely brilliant job. What have we got here? We've got a comment from Geordie says, oh, there we go. We've had that one. The elephant in Edinburgh Zoo can travel ball better than Dessers, says Ian Dill. Lol. Love it. Love it. Okay, guys. So let's have a quick look, shall we? This isn't the stat I've pulled off today. So this is Philippe Clement's record as Rangers manager, okay? This is his record as Rangers manager. Played 23, so that's League, Cup, European games. Won 19, drawn 3, lost 1. Win percentage 82.61%. Guys, that is phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. So that's basically 22 out of 23 games we have not been defeated in. He has only lost the 1 game. That is a phenomenal record. That is an absolutely phenomenal record. And it's not just the record that impresses, it's the change in mentality of the team. It's the change in the way the team plays. The team now has an identity, has a style, has tactics, has a formation, has a shape. The guys who come out on the field, whether they're the starting 11, whether they are the substitutes, whether they are rotated in, and we all know that Philippe loves to rotate, know exactly what they're doing. Absolutely knows exactly what they are doing. Stephen Clark says, we are night and day. It's great to watch us. It gets better every week. And that's what we want to see, Stephen. Look, at the start of the season, when people were talking about give Michael Beale time, what for me meant he shouldn't have been given time, the time that he was given, was that it never got any better. It never improved. 7 games, those 7 games, in no way, shape, or form, despite what some people thought. And I used to work with a Rangers podcaster who thought that we were getting better and thought some of our performances were great under Michael Beale. She was clearly clueless. But for me, it never improved. It got worse, if anything. Whereas now, as Stephen says, it's getting better every week. You are seeing the influence of Clement over this team, the development, the forward movement, the forward motion of this team. It's all very positive. We're in a 14-game mini title race now. That title is there for us thanks to Clement. Says David, you are spot on, mate, with what you say. Dessers could not score with Susan Boyle. Lol. I love it. Geordie says, Clement has honestly turned this team completely around. The players actually want to play now and fight for something. They do, Geordie, and that's quite clear. I don't know if you've noticed, Geordie, and whether you've noticed, guys, but one of the things that stands out for me is when we lose the ball, we hunt in packs. We get the ball back. The players don't just go, oh, well, giving the ball up now. Someone else can get it back for me. I can't be bothered. They get back after their man who's just taken the ball off them. They hunt them down. They get after him. They try and take the ball back. That is a real positive for me. A massive, massive positive for me. Guys, just a reminder, if you can smash the like, that would be absolutely superb if you could do that for me. It's coming up to the end of the first half at Easter Road. It's still Celtic 1, Hibernian 0. They've had one shot, Hibernian, not on target. Shots, Celtic have had 2, 1 on target. Possession is 65% to Celtic, 35% to Hibs. But Lunny strolled the game last night. Lunny, I thought, was great last night. Yeah, good point, Ian. Lunny, I thought, played really well last night. He really did stroll it last night. But I'll be honest with you, Ian, and everyone out there in the live chat and everyone watching, guys. Obviously, like I said, smash the like, guys. And if you've not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Daily Rangers news for free, guys, and all the places you can find us on scrolling on the bottom of the screen there. Now, if you look at it, guys, this way. I thought Lawrence and Lundstrom were both absolutely excellent last night. I thought both of them played very, very well indeed. I thought Lawrence gives us something different. He gives us a dynamism, a more movement. And Lundstrom and Lawrence link very well together. They both give a bit of extra movement, a bit of extra dynamism. And Lawrence was great last night. Lawrence did really well. And what was interesting for me, guys, I don't know if you know this, but Lawrence was the man dropping back and getting it from the back 4. Lawrence was the man back there, whereas Lunny seemed to be further forward, which you wouldn't expect, would you? You'd expect Lunny the roles to be reversed. But when Lawrence did get forward, some of the link play between him and Cantwell, again, was absolutely excellent. And the more we can have Lawrence and Cantwell on the field as well, I think the better for us. The better for him. What else have we got last night? I think Lunny is getting back to the Europa League, Lunny, says Geordie. Absolutely. Let's all be singing the song, guys. Yeah, greatest on earth and all that. Yes. The old John Lundstrom. I love the song. Silky Scouser is just what we need. He'll take Rangers. And so on and so forth, guys. I'm not going to sing anymore because I don't want you guys to have it bleeding ears. Good thing. I heard at the Livy game, Lunny wants 40k a week for a 2 deal. Club can't afford that. Mate, if that's the case, then no, we don't give it up. Look, I think, hopefully that the fact that he wants to stay at the club, that he wants to be a Rangers player, he wants to finish his career at Rangers, hopefully that would mean we can get him to do some sort of deal and not take a massive wage increase. Certainly that needs to be. But, I hope that the club are doing everything they can to get Lundstrom to stay at the club. Look, I was someone who slaughtered Lundstrom at the start of the season. I really thanks for Home Nations. I was someone who hammered Lundstrom. But, I'm sorry. I thought Lundstrom was great. I think Lundstrom was brilliant this season. He's been absolutely fantastic. And, yeah, I know the criticism could be levelled that maybe he's just doing it because he wants a new contract. Maybe he's just doing it because, his future's on the line. But I don't think that's the case. You listen to him talk about Philippe Clement. You listen to Clement talk about him. There's a mutual respect there. When people mutually respect each other like that, they don't go back to how they were under Michael Beale. They continue with that performance. Gordon says, do you think that Ryan Jack should be given a new contract? Right, guys, live chat, let me know. Should John, should Ryan Jack get a new contract? Now, this for me is a really difficult one. Really difficult one. Look, I love Ryan Jack. I love Ryan Jack. I think Ryan Jack's great. I really do think Ryan Jack's is a top quality player. Ryan Jack, for me, when he plays, makes everyone else look better around him. You know, you looked at games last season, even under Beale, when Jack, Lundstram, and Raskin played in midfield. Lunny and Raskin looked a lot better players when Ryan Jack was there. You know, he did look. They looked good. The other thing about Jack as well is, you know, when the fullbacks bomb on, which they do in our system quite a lot, whether it's Ridvan, whether it's James Tavernier, whoever it is, Jack automatically drops back in and covers for them. He understands his role so well. So look, at the end of the day, I love Ryan Jack. I think he's great. Now, on the downside to Jack, and a lot of you are making this point, and we'll get to your points in the live chat in a moment, is his injury record is just shocking. His injury record is utterly appalling. You know, the fact that he misses an awful lot of games. John says only if he quits playing for Scotland, which should have happened already. David says a definite no to a new contract for Jack, in my opinion. Defo no says Stuart never fit. Ian Deal says offer Lunny 2,000 used hubcaps a week. Scousers hubcaps. Lol. Geordie says yes and no. Yes, because he literally is a super sub in the final 20 minutes and you need a goal. No, because he's injury prone. Good question. Good answer. Sorry, Geordie. We need younger, fitter, more speed in that midfield. We need to get rid of these players that are never available. It's a waste of wages. Look, what I'm going to say on the whole situation is this. Look, if Jack say, thank you so much, CJ and I, gifting 5 memberships. You haven't got a membership, guys. This is your chance. Click allow gifts. You can get yourself a Glasgow Rangers Nation membership. Thank you, CJ and I, for buying 5 memberships. No contract for Jack, says Ian Dill. Stephen Clark makes a good point. Should be on a pay-as-he-plays deal. Now, it'll be difficult to get a player to agree to that, Stephen. That's the only thing possibly with that. Aldo says, can't believe these people that actually think Dessers is coming good. 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. Aldo, spot on, mate. Look, I'll come back to that point in a minute. I'll come back to that point, Aldo. I'll come back to that point in a minute. On Jack, this is my attitude with Ryan Jack. For me, Jack gets a new deal if that's what Philippe Clement wants. If Clement wants him to get a new deal, fine. Great. 100%. 100%. Okay. For me, if Clement wants that, then brilliant. Superb. Let him have a new deal. Let him have a new contract because I trust the manager. I trust Philippe Clement. I trust him. I trust him. Ian, very funny, buddy. I do trust Clement 100% to get this right. So that for me, let's let Clement decide what the best policy is with Ryan Jack. Okay, that's for me. Now, I think that any new deal though should be on the condition that he stops playing international football. Absolutely. We've got Dominic says, I watched the game on Sky, then listened to your podcast for the last few minutes. Loved your passion at the final whistle. My kids also love the F-bombs. Kids have learned. Thanks. Sorry, Dominic, for the swearing. Aldo says, trust Clement defo, mate. 100%, buddy. 100%. CJ9, thank you so much. Oh, where's your comment gone? There it is. Jack should get a porter in. True. Goldson, the bomb scatter. Yeah, we discussed him earlier. Yeah, he is. I've said that he needs to be replaced. Why do we keep an injury-prone Jack and let Scotty Arfield go? We should have offered more. I would love Scotty to stay. Look, Stuart, you're preaching to the converted here. I love Scotty Arfield. Absolutely love Scotty Arfield. Just think he's fabulous. 100%. 100%. Love that man. Love him. Love him. Absolutely love him. Just a super all-round guy is old Scotty Arfield. Guys, remember, you can get yourself a membership if you've not yet done it, if they haven't already gone. Guys, get yourself a membership to Glasgow Rangers Nation. It is there for you if you want it. Thanks to CJ and I. Guys, remember as well, if you can smash the like, that'd be brilliant. Obviously, the super chat, super thanks button there as well. Super sticker button, sorry. If you want to help fund the channel, that's great as well, guys. So let's talk a little bit of Cyril Dessers, shall we? Let's talk a little bit of Cyril Dessers. So a lovely point there by Aldo. Talk about, the fact that he thinks he's making 2 steps forward, 4 steps back is spot on. Look, don't get me wrong. He is doing better than he was at the start of the season. Okay, he is doing better than he was at the start of the season. He does score some goals, but my worry about Dessers at the moment is that in big games, he doesn't do it for us. In big games, he lets us down. Okay. You look at the games that he's in the Scottish Premier League where we really needed him to come through for us. We really needed him to really pull it out for us. Celtic away at Parkhead, he gets that chance where if he scores that goal, it's a different game. It honestly is a different game if he puts that ball in the back of the net, but he wants 6 months on the ball, doesn't he? He wants 6 months on the ball. And he takes far too many touches and loses the ball. Then you go to Hibs away. That chance, yes, he scores that worldie, but then moments later messes up that easy chance. Last night against Aberdeen, just again, doesn't do it. Plays poorly, doesn't win any of his ground duels. Again, just is very poor. Again, PSV Eindhoven at the start of the season, that is another one where he needs to work the goalkeeper. He needs to at least work the keeper. He doesn't do that. He does not do that. There we go. Ian says, my wife says Big Phil is a physiologist. Do you mean psychologist? I would love to bring back Scotty Geordie. I love him. Biggest mistake Beale made in the summer was to let Cholak go for Dessers. Stuart, I don't understand that. 1.5 million for Cholak, 4.5 million for Dessers. How the hell does that work, mate? How the hell does that work? And Sakala. Sakala and Matonda have very similar numbers in my, honestly. Would love Scotty Arfield back. True, Jer. He is. He's just superb. Scotty, we salute you. Scotty, we still salute you, buddy. You still are a hero of ours. Crib says Celtic look really shite. Now, via Hibs, they've had 2 shots on goal in the first half and a typical dodgy penalty. 100% they have. Just, they are not a good team. I keep saying this. Last night, it was a passenger play where we knocked the ball about nicely. It came to Dessers and he fired it back into midfield, killing all momentum with attack. Sums him up for me. This is what I'm saying, David. In big games, you just cannot trust Cyril Dessers. You really, really cannot. Scotty Arfield, loved him. Remember his absolutely brilliant goals. Scotty, the man. And the goal in the semi-final at Hampden as well. You're right, Goldson should not wear the shirt again, Aldo. Yes, Aldo, bloody brilliant. James Muir says, every game until the end of the season and cup games are all vital. And every game is a cup final, isn't it, buddy? Every game is a cup final. Till the end of the season, James, you are right in that. Goldson can't mark and blames everyone else, throws his arms about, not a good enough defender, says Aldo. Absolutely. So, this is a good point. This is a great point for me. And Dessers is good coming off the bench. Bring him on at 82 minutes and hook him off in the 84. Funny. I've always maintained, mate, that he's a better substitute. When he was at Feyenoord, he was a better substitute. That's where he got his goals in the Europa League, was coming off the bench. So for me, yeah, I agree with you, mate. Keep him on the bench. You watched Silva last night. Silva was different class last night. Absolute different bloody class last night. Who can forget his 2 goals? Brill player. He plays for the Jersey. Janet, I presume you're talking about old Scotty. Got to salute whenever we mention Scotty. He is the man. What have we got? Seeing Clement and Scotty talking at the cup final made me think he would thrive. I honestly, Geordie, you are right with that, mate. I honestly think he would do amazing under Philippe Clement. I really do. I think the way Clement motivates his players and the fact that, Scotty loved Rangers, the fact that Scotty was a Rangers man through and through, I think Scotty would have been amazing. I honestly think as well that Scotty would have been a real impact player off the bench for Philippe. I really do. I think that's a great shout, buddy. A great shout. Rather start Fabio. Take a chance. Fabio is great. Fabio, to me, I don't know about you guys, but he's starting to look a little bit of a class above anything in this league with his movement, his skill. There was that, like somebody mentioned in the live chat earlier, he was hemmed in the corner and he literally leaves 2 people on their arse. That's how good he is. He is quality. Don't worry about Europe. Wants to go for the treble. Borna, got to agree with you. The domestic trophies are more important this season. They are 100% more important this season. To win the Scottish Cup, to win the league is the priority. Yes, a Europa League run is nice. Who can forget the run to Seville? That was amazing. But yeah, absolutely. Goldson was done after 55. She never got a new contract. I'm convinced. Let's have a look. David says, I'm convinced Clement will look to bin Dessers in the summer. He's just not good enough. He may be hamstrung, I think. Obviously, I think if Danilo had been fit in January, if if Roof had been fit, we may have seen something slightly different with Dessers. Maybe he would have gone out on a loan to buy. I don't know. Scotty, I will never have a bad word said about Scotty. Never, ever, ever, ever can anyone say a bad word about Scotty. Never, ever. Thought Silver was very impressive last night. Some really nice touches and movement. Absolutely, 100% agree with you. Oi, says Ziggs. Hey, Sigs. Absolutely fantastic. Just 1-0. A notice. Yes, I know it is. Unfortunately, Bobby, it is. I think Goldson was done before we got him, Stuart. Lol. Give Silver one of the team, see what he can do. Yeah, you're right, Janet. Silver was class last night. Silver was very, very good last night. Defo give him a run in the team. Goldson and Tav should have been let go like Ken and Morelos when their contracts ran out. Refresh the squad. I think the refreshing of the squad will take place in the summer, if I'm being honest, guys. I think that's when we'll see Clement really be ruthless, really move players on. That, for me, is... the case. If red card is upheld, Sterling, how many games? It was 2, I think it is. Balogun was banned for 2. I think it'll be 2 games, James, that he will miss. If I'm being honest about this, 2 games in total. Okay, guys. Still 1-0 in the Celtic game. Obviously, that is half. I think we're half time in that now. Just so that we know that we are aware. Okay, guys, I'm going to call that a podcast for tonight. Thank you ever so much to everybody who's come on tonight, guys. Starting to have a few internet issues, losing a few of your comments. Quick couple of comments here. Alexander Cameron says, was never a red card. Alexander, you are right. Was never a red card ever. Warnock is a big blue nose. Talk more about Rangers than the Sheep last night. He certainly did, Ian. Comment here from Geordie. Silver's proved last night that he's a £35 million player and has something to prove to get into the first team at Wolves. Correct, Geordie? Correct. Need to get Goldson moved on, says Ziggs. Okay, guys, thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in, guys, for this tonight's quick pod. Been brilliant, obviously, hearing from you all. Some lovely points. Great chatting with you about last night's game, about the Don Robertson crap, etc., etc. Obviously, guys, let's keep this going. Game at a time, month at a time. Let's just keep this going, guys. We can win this title if we keep on going as we are. Stuart, that's a brilliant point. We should have been refreshing the squad every 2 or 3 seasons. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Yeah, that was a fantastic joke, wasn't it, last night? Okay, guys, thank you so much to everyone. Please hit the like on the way out. Obviously, if you've not yet subbed to the channel, please sub. Thank you so much for watching. On the way out, guys, 2 jobs for me. Number 1, smash the like. And number 2, remember always, we are the people.